I've waited a long time for a reality TV takedown, and I haven't said much, but it's time. Oh, Lord. Hello, lovelies. I'm Natasha, and you're watching Clutch as Pearls, where we sip on pop culture and spill the tea. So, today's topic, if you didn't guess, is the docu-series on Netflix about America's Next Top Model, which highlights some of the more egregious moments and interviews some of the pivotal judging casts and a few cast members, revisiting the historical series with a new lens. Today we're going to comment on whether Tyra really is the villain or whether she's just really bad at presenting herself as authentic and, genuine, and that makes for an easy villain target. Although I will say she didn't do herself any favors. So let's get into it, shall we? So the show looks at some of the more egregious and shocking moments in the television series, which I, like every teenage girl of the time, watched and lapped up enthusiastically. I'm smizing right now. You can't see because I'm wearing glasses. No, never smize. Never smile. It gives you wrinkles. Some of the moments that were highlighted included the "we were rooting for you" moment, which we'll comment on now.
Everybody, be quiet! That's what it's wrong for you. Stop it! I have never in my life yelled at a girl like this. When my mother yells at this, it's because she loves me. I was rooting for you. We were all rooting for you. How dare you? I have never in my life yelled at a girl like this. I was rooting for you. We were all rooting for you. How dare you? You have no idea.
Now, Tyra's version of events was that it was something to do with Black women empowerment and frustration. She evades like a pro, like any good media coach would have told her to. Redirect, play the victim, avoid accountability. Nowhere in that does she say, I was a crazy bitch and had a meltdown. Because why would she? She's on this show to rebrand and get publicity, not necessarily to give a genuine, heartfelt account of why she's sorry or what went wrong. So I'm not shocked, but I will say it's hard to watch her. I feel it's hard to watch her because of the strange channeling Oprah with this whispery voice that's just a little bit like bad acting. Or maybe that is her personality. Who knows? Perhaps I'm being hard on her. But I will say it's not that enjoyable to engage with when you watch the docuseries. So she doesn't come across very well, or she was not edited very kindly. Maybe it's karma for the way she edited her contestants. Ooh, there's a thought. Another serious consideration was the crying makeovers. So many tears were shed, and we loved it. Let's not take away our own accountability. We loved watching those girls get their hair cut, crying. Everyone was ready to be like, well, you're going to be famous. Why are you crying? But there are some really horrific moments, including dental procedures people were against, weaves gone wrong. Let's not even get me started on the race swapping moment. Oh. But let's jump in and have a look, shall we?
I didn't know it would go all night.
That was really intense what Joni went through.
Oh, Lord. Insane.
The gap wide open for another girl, baby.
I agree.
When Tyra called my name, she was like, so if I decide to keep you, are you going to get your gap closed? And then that's when I was like, so what you're saying to me is, if I don't get my gap closed, you're going to send me home.
And then they mentioned, obviously, many of the tense judging moments. There's a lot of behind-the-scenes pull towards the judges because all of them have come back to recontextualize themselves, take partial accountability, but reframe it as, I had no choice, I'm a dad. I will say that the Jay, who sadly had the stroke, and I wish him all the best in his recovery, full recovery, he never actually evaded anything. Well, to my recollection, I could be wrong, but watching the show, Jay Manuel manages to pivot almost as much as Tyra, but with more sincere delivery, which is why we're not mad at him. Nigel, too, is now a dad, so he has a moral compass, suddenly reframing himself. And the fact that they've all stayed in touch and stayed friends because they were good work colleagues, fair enough. You know, it makes them seem more likable. The framing might not necessarily be fair. But we'll never truly know the truth because we're not behind the scenes. And this is a documentary about a documentary. Well, a reality TV show. So the purpose of both is entertainment. And, you know, if it had been entirely unbiased, perhaps I would feel more like we'd gotten to the core of the truth. But I will say that the publicity that the judges are getting, Tyra is getting, will benefit them. Perhaps the contestants can glaze off some of that, but in truth, this seems like another form of illusion to me personally. So those were some of the main moments. Oh, not to forget Shandy. Oh my God. So I don't necessarily know all the facts because I wasn't there. But as per the TV show, Shandy was one of the season 2 contestants and she cheats on her boyfriend as per storyline. Now, years later, we're told by Shandy herself that she was blacked out and that this is it's more of an SA situation than an I cheated on my boyfriend situation.
I was blacked out. No one did anything to stop it.
And she felt that there was an accountability as people by the cast and crew, mostly the crew, to stop it. Now, I will say that it's a tough one, and Tyra doesn't comment at all. Her evasion gets stronger the more egregious the act or action or problem.
I do remember her story. It's a little difficult for me to talk about production because that's not my territory.
Was there ever a sense of like, hey, we need to turn the cameras off? You know, we treated Top Model as a documentary.
Ken Mock holds true to the fact that he was kind in editing and it's television. You signed up for this is kind of his attitude. Whereas the other hosts were not present, so they dodged that bullet as hard as they can. But the truth of the matter is they were all there the next day with the footage. Perhaps they didn't know what happened, but anyway, I couldn't say. All I know is that it's a corporate company, reality TV. And while Tyra is the bullseye right now, she's the center of a larger ripple effect in television, which is in fact a business. And everybody wants to keep their job. Nobody wants to virtue signal or be the hero because the hero gets fired in reality. As much as we all want to be the good Samaritan who does the right thing, most likely and most commonly that is not the case. So what do we make of all of this? Is it empowerment or is it exploitation? And who is currently being exploited in this documentary? Because always there's got to be someone who's making a buck, and the angle is everything. And in reality TV, it's always entertainment. If you're not in the room, you don't know. And that's really what they remind us. What we find out is more through a lack of action or a lack of intervention. I feel like that tells the bigger story here. And the shifting cultural perspective is really real. I enjoyed the series. I watched it. I found the documentary salacious and captivating. But how close to the truth? Well, we'll never know. I'm Natasha. You're watching Clutches Pearls. If you've liked this video, like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more. And if you didn't, do it anyway. See you soon and take care. Bye now.